Hi everybody, it is August 25th, Tuesday. Um, okay, this is Off Planet Tuesday, so my topic for today is I want to talk about the reptilians. Just so you guys that don't know too much about them, I want to kind of just give you a really short synopsis of this type of species. Okay, so kind of go back to the beginning. Nobody knows exactly where they came from. I know it sounds bizarre, although they've been here for billions and zillions of years. Probably one of the oldest races out there. But I'm talking about even records from not just from on Earth, which is kind of limited. That's like only millions and billions of years. But as far as other civilizations out there, when they talk about the reptilian species, they're not exactly sure where they came from as well. It's almost like they came from another multiverse somehow. Anyway, so basically, as far as where they're basically from the Draco system, which is near the Little Dipper in the sky. They are a very conquering, very strong species, very strong race. Their whole dynamics, their whole nature is to conquer. They're very conquering, very warlike. And I always sort of equate it to, for instance, if God's creating all of everything, because they're such an old species, I think, I'm just kind of guessing here too, but I think that the plan is to make a species or a creature that will survive against all odds. So very survival of the fittest type of creature, and very controlling, very, like I said, very warlike as well. And they've actually done really well because of that. They're very, very strong. As far as their physical attributes, there's a lot of different kinds of reptilian races out there, but one of the main basic ones that affected us in a bad way, is the Dracos, and they're anywhere from 8 feet to 25 feet tall. And another thing that they've mastered over billions and billions of years is how to genetically modify things. And as you know, if we want to compare their species to ours, using, for instance, automobiles as a comparison, they're like the army tank, very, very strong military type version. And we are more like the sports model, like the Corvette, that type of thing, more refined. But as you can imagine, if God was going to create a lot of different kind of races out there, I think the ultimate thing to shoot for is for something to be strong, and yet be able to be loving at the same time. So they're kind of opposites in a way. So I think the project for us, our type of human beings, our species, they're trying to combine the two of them together, us to be strong and yet be very loving. So in a sense, when I look at the reptilians, I look at them as in that sort of version. It's a very strong survival of the fittest, they're very loyal. But they're also, which is an interesting thing about them, is they're very, what's the best way to put it? They like pomp and ceremony and traditions, rules, really a lot of rules. And in a sense, that's why they become really good conquerors. But they're really control freaks, I guess, in some ways too. They have to control everything. So, I mean, that species does exist out there, and they're here also. Even though they can go interdimensional, from what I understand, that they live a lot in the 4D, whereas we're more 3D. But 3D and 4D cross hover a lot. Also, they have, because they've been here for billions and billions of years. They have a lot of high tech. They've got a lot of tech, so from what I understand, they can also do shape shifting, as well as they can come in and out of dimensions. They have the technology to do that. I know all this stuff sounds fantastical, and you can take it with a grain of salt. Believe me, it's hard to understand all this stuff. But I'm just gonna, like I said, just kind of give you the basic version of what's going on. Now, how they've affected us is our particular model, this human model that we're in right now, the human being. We've been manipulated. Our DNA has been manipulated and basically tweaked over millions of years, and we have reptilian DNA in us as well. So obviously they've been tweaking us as well as other entities out there. A lot of them, I know I've explained this before. It's either benevolent, races out there, and then there's malevolent, and obviously, reptilians are more of the malevolent version of that, and it's about control. Well, the reason why they want to control us, they're very service to self in that way, is what they've, I guess, in a sense, what they've come to terms with is we are one of their main food sources, and I mean that energetically as well as physically. I mean, this is something that's going to eventually, we're all going to find out anyway, so the sooner you guys know this, it takes you a while to wrap your head around it, and then you can deal with it. But we are a commodity to them. They do physically eat us as well as energetically, feed off of us with our loosh and basically our consciousness, everything. And I can go into that deeper some other time, but I kind of want to just simplify things and tell you guys that the situation we're in with them right now, they have taken control of a lot of planets, a lot of real estate out there. Earth for them was an ideal spot because obviously we don't put up a fight. There's other basically entities or other star constellations, other extraterrestrials that have taken them on head to head, and so there's histories of lots of wars with them as well. But anyway, as far as we're concerned, what they've realized is it's the best to farm us, or basically rule us, control us, by disguising themselves as human beings. And what I mean by that is they have the technology, so do we. People are going to find out about this sooner or later too. Not only just cloning, but being able to take their consciousness and put it into other creatures. And so what they're doing is they're taking their consciousness and they're basically inhabiting a human being. So when you see a lot of not only human beings that act with no conscience or empathy, it's probably a reptilian. So that's why they've in a sense set themselves up around the world as the elite, and they try to keep that bloodline very, very pure. But they're the ones that set themselves up because it's about taking care of themselves. The banking industry, corporate entities, judges, lawyers, basically they're everywhere. And in a sense, that's what we're breaking down, that control system. So what's going to be happening soon, well, it's happening right now, is starting with a lot of this breaking down and exposing of the child trafficking. Well, there's more than just child trafficking, there's human trafficking. Like I said, we're a commodity in the universe, and they've been basically harvesting us. We're a cash crop. And yeah. So we're basically taking that down. So we're going to be taking control back. We're basically going to destroy their empire as much as we can. Um, so this is kind of this situation we're in right now, and what it reminds me of, especially what's going to be happening fairly soon, is not only are we fighting them, there's kind of like this war going on. It's kind of an invisible war to a certain extent. We just don't see a lot of it. But once this war it's going to take a while to finish it. But once this war starts really ramping up near the end, and it's going to be more exposed to everybody, which is probably by the end of this year, a lot of this stuff is going to be a shocker to people. So it really reminds me of what it was like. It's almost like history repeating itself. Reminds me a lot of what it was like back in the Second World War, and at the end of the Second World War, when they started doing a lot of attention on a lot of the concentration camps, the world was quite shocked. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this has been going on all this time and nobody really talked about it. Well, same thing's going to happen with us in a way bigger way, but unlike having like a hidden concentration camp in the forest in Germany or Poland or something, what they've been doing now, because they get smarter as time goes on, they've been basically doing all their dirty work and basically trafficking, but right below our very feet. Basically, all these underground tunnels and underground bases, dams, all that. They go all around the world. So that's in a sense what the Trump team has been doing is basically going and cleaning up all these human trafficking underground dams and bases. And it's going to be exposed probably by the end of this year. And like I said, it's like history repeating itself. People are going to go, oh my God, this has really been going on. And it's going to be really hard for them to believe, just like that was back in 1945. But this is the newer version of this. And it's like, it's going to be a shocker to the world. But the reason why I'm telling you the reptilian perspective of as well is because that's another reason why they've been keeping all this extraterrestrial stuff secret, is because, as we all know, when you're doing connecting the dots, one thing leads to another, and that is why it's kept as a secret. Because when people find out that there are extraterrestrials out there, not only out there, but on planet Earth, right below our very feet, that have been basically farming us for thousands of years, and we're going to break free from it. We have to basically destroy their system. And so that's what we're going through right now. It's this paradigm shift of breaking down that old system so we can set up the way Earth should have been. This is supposed to be a fun learning experience planet for all of us to enjoy. And we're supposed to learn how to do things with love and things like that. So there's no way we could have ever pulled this off unless we tear down their system. So that's what we're going through, and it's going to be exposed soon. So the good part about this, as usual, you got to go through pain. But when this is all finished, I mean, all this pain is going to be worth it. And yeah, it'll be a whole new system, a whole new world. So that's what we're looking forward to. We still have to have a few more months to go through before it really gets more exposed. And then it'll take a few years to tear down that system completely. So we're here. We pick a really interesting time to be here on Earth as far as history is concerned, history of the universe. And like I told you before, like all eyes are watching to see how we do this. And like I said before too, we're also getting help, but it's almost like they're letting us do it ourselves. And that's in a sense what you've noticed Donald Trump doing. He's exposing them, and it's up to us to deal with it and to try to fix it. He's not going to go in there with a wrecking ball and then change it all, because then he's going to look like a dictator. So he's basically, his job is more to assist in tearing it down, along with other assistance we're getting from all over the place. And once the system gets torn down, it'll be exposed, and we get to be here to rebuild it, to to an awesome place. So again, that's what I keep my eyes on. But we still have to go through all this crap until the end of the war, and hopefully that won't last too much longer. Okay, that's it for Off-World Topic Tuesdays. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.